Get Out. I enjoyed this movie. This was a good movie, and by a first time at the bat director. Jordan Peele directs it. It's his directorial debut, and he knocked it out of the park. This was good. This was like veteran director stuff. He actually wrote it too, from what I understand. This movie stars, I'm going to butcher this name, so I apologize, Daniel Kaluuya. He's a Brit. Allison Williams. Bradley Whitford, which I've seen him before, and he does pretty good stuff. I mean, I like him as an actor. He's interesting, a good character actor. Catherine Keener. She's good. 40-year-old virgin. She was the chick. It was good. Little Rel Howery. however you would say that. He's funny, you know. Every time they put him up there, he was knocking it out of the park. He's hilarious. You know what? He brought a lot of comical realism to the movie. Keith Stanfield. Betty Gabriel. Marcus Henderson. All of these guys are predominantly, this is a cast of, I don't want to say B-rate stars or C-rate stars. These are people just starting out. None of these stars, a couple of them, there's like a few of them that have been around for a while. The majority of these stars, the lion's share of these stars, are relatively new or unknown at least. And they just worked really well together. You could tell that they were putting in, you know, the actual time to do the actual work. This was a good movie. It was written well, it was directed excellently, and it was acted to perfection. Essentially what you have is Daniel's character. He's African American. He's playing an African American, and he has a Caucasian American girlfriend. He's supposed to go meet her family, and she neglects to tell them that he is of African American descent. So it's something that's on his mind on the way there. And she tells him, no, don't worry about it. It's cool. And he goes, but he knows deep down that it's probably a thing. So they go. And the family, mostly one member of the family, is pushing the fact that he's African American. The dialogue, the mannerisms, the things he does and says, the things that he insinuates are borderline racist. If you're ever in a conversation with your friends and you say something like, well, I do have a gay friend, or I do have a black friend, or I do have a Muslim friend, you're singling that person out, and probably unbeknownst to you, you're specifically saying that you only have that one friend, and he's probably exclusive in your world. That's the one guy or the one girl or whatever. And people look at that and say, wow, he might be racist. That's kind of what happens here. They're not, there's no pitchforks and crosses burning in the yard and hoods and stuff like that. But the little subtleties make you wonder about where they are mentally, I was expecting to call it a horror, but it's more of a horror thriller. it's you got to see it. It's a good movie. Daniel does a great job. He's a Brit with a pretty thick British accent, but he almost completely dissolves that accent while he's talking. He's pretty good. He just like the accent just melts away. There are some shocks, you know. There are some, as to be expected, you know, the jump scares, but not that many. The story didn't really need a lot of, you know, somebody's washing their face in the sink and they look down and look up and there's somebody standing behind them in the mirror. The traditional jump scares, they just didn't really need that. And that was kind of cool because it still worked well without that. The story maintained a level of thrill, a level of accelerated heartbeat, you know, without a lot of jump scares. And that's pretty cool. I'm sure that was tough and difficult to write. It does touch on, like I said, some racial tensions without going too far. I think it just touched on them. It just dabbled with them a little bit, and then kind of backed away. It just said, yeah, we recognize what this movie is, but there's no need to, you know, to be all over it and jumping up and down, screaming and throwing firecrackers in the air to get your attention. I'm just going to say this, leave it at that. You got it. We'll move on. That's what it did. The movie was really good with that. There's no real big twist in the movie. Pretty much, as I was watching it, what I expected to happen happened. If there's a noise in the attic, I'm thinking don't go in the attic. You know, if there's a dude with a chainsaw and he's running towards you and you run out of the building and there's a car with the lights on and the engine's running and the door's open and then there's a cornfield and everybody runs into the cornfield, I'm like, why didn't you take the car? You know, it's what you would kind of expect to happens, and there is one thing that happens close to the end of the movie that surprised me. I was expecting left and I got right, and it was a good surprise. It had a great ending. I really enjoyed the ending. You know, it was I guess that was unexpected. I guess that would be the one twist that caught me off guard. But the movie is a great movie. Like I say, well written, well directed. Jordan Peele is on top of his game. I am eager to see what he does next. If he stays from because you know he's from the Keenan and Peele comedy duo, the modern Abbott and Costello, and you would expect a great deal of comedy, but instead on this I got, you know, horror thriller, which surprised me because I was halfway expecting this to be a comedy of some sort, but it was good, and I think I'm going to give this movie 9 bags of popcorn. And if you dig the movie, let's talk about it. Write in the comments and tell me about your favorite thriller. Tell me about all of the movies you've seen with great thrills, great thrillers, great horror movies. Let's talk about it. And as always, if you like the video and you like the content, then right here in the corner, click my face and subscribe. And then like.